Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing good. It's Monday, so it's time for another episode of Fragrance Battle. And in today's video, I'm very excited about today's video because today I'm going to compare 4 clones of one of my all-time most favorite scent, and that's Dior Homme Intense. The 4 clones that I'm going to battle out in this video come from, one of them is from the house of Wataniah and it's called Kayaan Classic. The second one comes from the house of Maison ALhambra and it's called Dark Door Intense. The third one is called Sheykh Zayed and it comes from the house of Khalej. And the fourth one is called Oud Intense and it's from the house of Maison Asrar. I'm going to start off by comparing the bottle design and the presentation of the 4 fragrances. Now 2 of them, Dark Door Intense and Sheykh Zayed Limited Edition, come very plainly packaged. There's nothing special about the packaging of those 2 fragrances. And the same can be said about the bottle design of Sheykh Zayed. This is really unimpressive, feels kind of low quality, very cheap looking bottle, cap, not a snug fit at all. And I don't really like the bottle design and the presentation of Sheykh Zayed Limited Edition. So this is in last position. In third position will be Dark Door Intense. I like the bottle design, although I think that the bottle is unnecessarily big. You can see how thick of a bottom part it has. Base it has, it's unnecessarily heavy. And one thing I don't like about the quality of this thing is the fact that sometimes part of the cap comes out and sticks onto the bottle itself, but other than that the design of the bottle is actually pretty decent. Dark Door Intense comes in third position. In second position will be Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. It comes nicely packaged, you get a very good quality box, and the bottle also has very nice quality. You get a good looking cap that is a secure fit. The only thing that I don't like about this bottle is these things that are hanging around. They look like earrings or something like that. It's just unnecessary, I think, in my opinion, but still this thing comes in second position. And in first position when it comes to the bottle design and presentation for me will be Kayaan Classic from Wataniah. Bottle feels of very high quality, you get a metallic cap, the box that the fragrance comes packaged in is also very nice, and all in all this is the best presented fragrance out of the 4 in here, so this will be in first position. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the scent profile of the 4 fragrances and how similar they are to the original scent. Now all 4 carry pretty much the same scent profile. They have this very sweet powdery iris, you have some fruity sweetness, you got some musks and some ouds on the dry down, a touch of spices. All in all are very enjoyable for me because I love the original scent and I love all 4 of them. But if I have to pick up a personal winner when it comes to the actual scent profile of all 4 fragrances, it's going to be Kayaan Classic because for me that's been the most enjoyable scent. But if I have to sort of pick up a wild card winner, it will be Sheykh Zayed Limited Edition because the guys from Khalej have done an interesting twist on the original scent. They've added a little bit more fruitness and a little bit more fruity freshness and sweetness to the scent profile, making it very interesting, a very interesting twist on the original scent. Dark Door Intense is also very enjoyable when it comes to the scent, but and in fact that might be the most the closest thing to the original fragrance, but it just lacks a bit of the depth and a bit of the intensity that you get out of Dior Homme Intense. And when it comes to the case of Oud Intense from Maison Asrar, which I have here on this strip, again it's very similar to Dior Homme Intense, but just feels a little bit more oody, and maybe that's why they went with the name Oud Intense. So when it comes to the winner of how enjoyable the scent profile has been for me, the first position will go to Kayaan Classic, the second position will go to Sheykh Zayed, and it will be a shared third position between Dark Door Intense and Oud Intense. When it comes to how close they are to the original scent, again, as I said, Kayaan Classic is a little bit different in the opening, feels a little bit more chocolatey in the opening, but once it goes into the dry down it's almost identical to Dior Homme Intense, and for me again that will be the winner when it comes to how close all 4 are to the actual scent of Dior Homme Intense. In second position it will be the Dark Door Intense from Maison ALhambra. Again, It's super close to the original fragrance, but just lacks the intensity, you know, of Dior Homme Intense. It feels like an EDT version of Dior Homme Intense, let's call it that. But still, I will rank it in second position when it comes to how close it is to the original scent. The third position will be for Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. As I said, it feels a little bit more woody, lacks a little bit of the sweetness and the powderness of the iris, but still in the air it's super similar to Dior Homme Intense. And the fourth position will be for a Sheykh Zayed limited edition from Khalej. When it comes to the performance, for me the weakest fragrance in this four has been Dark Door Intense from Maison ALhambra. Now, it's not a bad performing fragrance, but definitely not a very strong fragrance. I've been getting around about 7.5 hours out of this fragrance, but for me the more important thing is that this just lacks projection. It will project sort of moderately for about hour and a half, and then it will start to sit very close to your skin. So the worst performer out of the four fragrances in here will be Dark Door Intense. In sort of a shared second position for me will be for the Kayaan Classic and Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. Both fragrances have been giving me somewhere around about the 8.5 hour mark when it comes to performance, with a very decent projection in the first hour and a half up to 2 hours. Both of them are equally good performers, and they're lacking a little bit compared to the original scent, but still I can call them a good performing fragrances. For me, the surprising winner when it comes to the performance round will be Sheykh Zayed limited edition from Khalej. As I said, this is a little bit more fruity, a little bit slightly, fresher, sweeter take on the original scent. And when I initially got this fragrance and tried it for the first time, I really liked the scent profile, but I thought that this thing will not be a good performer. But it turns out to be quite the opposite. This thing has been performing really solidly. It's been giving me at least 10 hours of performance, it can rival pretty much the original scent when it comes to performance, and also projects really nicely for 2, maybe even up to 2.5 hours. When it comes to the pricing, here the cheapest fragrance is actually the winner, and the winner in this round will be Dark Door Intense from Maison ALhambra. I paid less than 20 euros in order to get this fragrance, and it's been the cheapest one in those four. In second position will be Sheykh Zayed limited edition. I paid a little bit over 20 euros in order to get this fragrance, which again makes it a very nice deal. Just keep in mind though that Sheykh Zayed comes in an 80 ml bottle size, which lowers a little bit its bang for buck ratio, but still a very affordable scent. The next one will be Kayaan Classic. Now, I've had this for quite a while, and when I bought this fragrance I paid about 25 euros in order to get Kayaan Classic, which at least in this case fortunately get a very nice presentation at 100 ml bottle size, which still makes it a pretty decent deal. And for me the most expensive fragrance in this fragrance battle has been Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. I paid almost 30 euros in order to get this fragrance, and again, like with Sheykh Zayed, you get only 80 milliliters when it comes to the bottle size. So it's been the sort of the worst deal out of the four. Still a pretty affordable fragrance, but the most expensive out of the four in this video. And on to the final results of today's fragrance battle. Now, for me, the clear winner of today's battle will be Kayaan Classic from the house of Wataniah. Now, up to this day, from what I've tried clone-wise to Dior Homme Intense, this has been the best clone. Scent-wise, still I think this is the closest thing to the original scent. It comes really nicely packaged, it has good enough performance, and all in all a nice price tag, as long as you can find this. I know that a lot of people have had a hard time finding this fragrance, which is really unfortunate, because I think this is, from what I've tried, the best clone of Dior Homme Intense. So for me, my personal winner of this fragrance battle will be Kayaan Classic from Wataniah. A very close, surprisingly very close second place for me will be for Sheykh Zayed limited edition from Khalej. This is probably out of the four in here the furthest away scent-wise, but the twist that Khalej have done to the original scent profile has been so intriguing to me that this really has been shining in my collection, and I really like this one. That's the main reason. And the second reason why this is in a second position, but very close second to Kayaan Classic, will be about the performance. This thing has been the best performer out of all four. Dior Homme Intense clones that I have in my collection, and this also pretty much rivals the original scent when it comes to performance. So in second position will be Sheykh Zayed limited edition. In third position will be Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. Again, very close scent-wise to the original scent, and the few reasons why this is down the order is, first of all, because I don't really like the bottle design of this thing, and also because you get only 80 milliliters. But scent-wise, very close to the original, very close to Kayaan Classic, and with very good performance. And as long as you can find this on a good deal, something up to about 30 euros for me, I will think of it as a decent deal. Definitely check out Oud Intense from Maison Asrar. This is in third position. And in last position, in fourth position, unfortunately, will be Dark Door Intense from Maison ALhambra, and for only one main reason, and that's the performance out of this thing. I still think that this is super close scent wise. It lacks a bit of the depth and the intensity that you get out of Dior Homme Intense, but on its own it's a fantastic scent, and super close to the original fragrance, but just lacks the performance, and I cannot tolerate that. And when it comes to total longevity on skin, this is not a bad performing fragrance, but for me where this is really lacking is the projection, and that's why this is going to be in fourth position. And so guys, in this episode of Fragrance Battle, I compared 4 clones of Dior Homme Intense. Kayaan Classic from Wataniah, Dark Door Intense from Maison ALhambra, Oud Intense from Maison Asrar, and Sheykh Zayed limited edition from Khalej. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.